Well, we've got a one goddamn impressive fight coming up now in Fairy Tail, and yes, we are fighting and see like what two demons can do itself properly. I am talking about Mirajane, and Eileen herself is now about to ride, and I'm super fucking thrilled about that because that was one of the fights that I predicted a while ago. So hey, so far 2 fairies down. I'm pretty excited. So we get started off the chapter immediately with this week's Fairy Tail. We got to see that everyone decides to run up towards the guild, find out like, and also as well like we got to see like Leather. She finally heard like Gargio's voice and she started crying. Now like honestly, I feel like this scene could have worked a little bit better. Honestly, if it was a surprise, if it was like they ran up to there and it was like heard it, but I couldn't help but just go, oh, like just immediately when I saw Leather like crying and just heard like, oh Gargio's alright, like after everything, you know, maybe it might have a little bit of a snog when they get back there, like when they get to the guild, so who knows, but we clearly can see from there that from what we can see that Natsu's group is literally going to be heading back there, and that's pretty much like where we're going to heal like Urza and a bunch of the people. And it's like, I just loved it just because I've just watched Game of Thrones like recently, and everyone's going, turn it off, make it off, you lot, like that. It's just like, what is this, like fucking Nidhogg Stark and all that, like they go to like fucking like right back to like the Temuro Island, they go, king of the north, like just try and do that, like that's what, I don't know, it's a very childish thing, but it's like, I love that. And like, even when we get to see as well, like we know that with Mirajane and Lizana, that Elfman was separated from them, and they were wondering where he was, and that he is with a surprisingly Yukino out of all people, and of course only Fairy Tail members can actually hear this voice right now, and for some reason they're with like fucking like Lecter and Fro, so like it's just the weirdest pair. And strangely enough, it's like, you know, because yet again here, not trying to get us that sister, he's really trying to hide around, like dance around that pole bell. Oh yeah, well, you know, I know exactly, like, you know, people want to know who Eileen is, and I was like, well, either way, like the elder sister and younger sister, I was thinking, like, no, he's going to troll us again, and this is going to be about Yukino and her sister, or it's going to be about Mirajane and her sister, since it, like, the two are kind of being on the chapter and all that, and since it was on the front cover as well, you never could know, but we get to see that Yukino meets up with Angel, and I was like, she just goes there, she's like, yo, Serrano, like that, and it's just like, no, like, Yukino. So I'm really curious in fact that, like, since these two are meeting up more, like, where are the other Arashionseis? Like, since we really didn't get to see, like, a good chance of them so far in this war, and the question is, like, you know, are we actually going to see, like, one of the last Spriggers, like, appear and try and take on, like, both, like, Yukino and, like, Sarah? I feel like there's going to be some, like, some other characters, like, to actually come up and face off against them. Like, I don't think it would just be, like, Yukino and, like, just, like Angel just trying to go against them with Elfman, but we'll have to wait and see, like that. And meanwhile, while we got that, we finally got to see, like, Juliet and Heinz, like, with their ability, like, go straight in, trying to tackle, like, you know, like, Mirajane, and we finally understand why, like, you know, like, that mucus, because I was like, with that mucus power, it's like, what, you're gonna make them slip, that's it? Like, you know, what exactly is that fucking power, like that? And it's like, it turns out it can melt your, like, face. I do appreciate, though, that immediately, like, Mirajane went in to attack these guys and like that, and it was just like, yeah, did a little bit of fucking damage to them at the start like that, and just, like, blew, like, a fucking huge explosion in their face, and it was just like, you know, like, these motherfuckers were just like, they took a little bit of injury, and it was just like, you know, like, huh, yeah, this bitch is not that, it's pretty, like, powerful and all that, like, you know, seeing that stuff, and I was like, you know, Julie and Hein, you know, they're definitely like, yo, we got a challenge here, we got something here. So it's like, immediately I was like, oh, thank God it isn't a one-shot, oh, thank God. From there, however, though, it's like, it literally keep going to this fight and all that. She's like, you know, like, I've got to bring up the 8, like, she actually knows that these two and all that are, like, goddamn, like, powerful foes, so she's like, I've got to use this ace up in my sleeve, which is, like, Satan's Soul, Mirajane, Algeri, and, like, and I was thinking, like, what the fuck is this? It's like, because we've already seen her use, like, someone, like, you know, what we've seen, like, you know, like Sailor, and it's just like, so what happened is, like, after the battle with Tartaros and all that, there were souls right for the taking, so she devoured them all. I was like, what the fuck? Like, we can clearly see that, you know, with the tentacles and all that, they're representing the actual, like, so, like, seeing Tartarus' like, actual, like, island moving mobile unit. Like, I was like, Jesus Christ, she's, like, absorbed that and Tartarus members, so, yeah, this gotta be her most powerfulest, like, out of all of them, like, out of all the Satan Souls, because it's, like, how much she's devoured, and then she clearly said, like, it's so powerful that I'm, like, draining up the, like, the seawater just because of it. And just literally fucking grabs Julia and Heinz's face and just smashes them to the ground and goes, ooh, fuck you two, like that. I was like, wow, that's pretty powerful. Like that, although, yeah, again, I was a little bit annoyed where it was like, come on, could we have not had a little bit of a longer fight with them? But then after seeing that, it was like, wait a minute, they're not people, they're swords. They're an enchantment technique. One black, one white. And it was like, what the hell? Do you like have like a personality etched on those swords? And fucking Eileen comes down. It's like, that can't be, to think that there'll be someone as fearsome with this enemy's rank. And it's just like, let's see Mirajane in that form go against like Eileen. I want to see something like that, like where she's just clearly just got either more power up, and it's like, it's something like that, then that would just put her there as like, Urza's gonna need some kind of like massive armor just to even defeat Eileen if that fight is gonna hit. I want a good fight out of these two and all that, like just to see what we're gonna be getting. But I can clearly see like with this one, Mira has to lose because it's all putting the chips on the side that it's like, this has to be, out of everyone to like do this fight and all that, this has to be Urza to be the one to finish it. So maybe Mirajane might be able to get a good slash in, and like we might be able to find some stuff. However though, the thing that people were like freaking out about the chapter is yet again one of the titles like going into it. So like overall, like, I thought it was a pretty good fucking chapter itself and all that. Like it had some really interesting stuff, and then also as well, like the only thing that really bugged me was like, you know, oh, we could, you know, like even still with the Gargiel thing, I think it's like that could have been a surprise when they finally got back to the guild and they saw Levy and all them there and they saw Gargiel. And that like adding into it is like the next chapter is actually fucking called Dragneel the White. Like that. I remember hearing like something about that like on Reddit and all that. I was like, you know, what the fuck do people think about that? And it was like early on it was called White Dragneel. So Dragneel the White, like what is that? And like people are saying that it's like immediately it's like, oh, the black and white swords, like the white one's the Dragneel one. And I'm like the dragon, is that like the Dragneel family sword or something like that? Or it's like, is this something else? Like people think, is this like a transformation? Like people were saying like, oh yeah, like Naruto's gonna meet up with Sting and he's gonna get like, you know, the white, like the white dragon slayer power like that, the light one. I was like, I don't know, I don't think that's the like case and all that. Like honestly, like I might have to just do a video just talking about it because there's just so much stuff on that. Honestly, I think this is a vast improvement from what last week's one, where I had so much complaints on that. And it's like, I don't like normally ranting about fairy tales. I don't like ranting about any series and all that. But when we got to see like Eileen coming up against Mirajane, I was like, that's a fight I want to see. And I want to see Eileen put a fucking L on the table right there and take out what it needs to. And also about Mirajane just devouring all of Tyrus's souls there. I was like, Christ almighty. I mean, I'm at least glad that there was a lot more interesting stuff between Juliet and like Hein, that they were actually swords, and I was like, okay, like what's the explanation between those two and all that. And at least they wasn't like just one shot. At least there was actual couple of blows here and there from like both of them like coming after them. Like I was really happy at least about that. And it's just like, but other than that, it's like, yeah, Hero is still trying to fucking troll us again with the whole, like, elder sister, younger sister, ooh, we might find about that mother, like, you know, mother and daughter, like that, and it's like, no, it was going to be showing off the Yukino stuff and all that, so, which I'm glad that is, like, a thing that's needed to be addressed already. We just didn't know when that was going to be, since, like, we had so many big fights going on at the moment, so it's like, and we didn't know, like, exactly, like, where the two were on the battlefield precisely, since, like, they were in that giant mechanized mobile unit, and we didn't know where everyone split up to. And just the only questions right now and all that is like, what exactly is that sort of like, are the swords really? Because that might be the white Dragneel there on the floor like that. That might explain why it's so fucking powerful. Like that, I'll be wondering, it's like, this is some noble sword, like there's so many questions and all that, like, about the whole thing about like the next chapter, what the hell that's gonna be cool. I'm really liking the air, it's just like giving us stuff to be super excited on. Just on the title itself, like it's really interesting, and just that there's like, we got a nice little thing, like heck, we got Yukino and Serrano like meeting up, even though like I still feel like the whole rush thing, like about the whole Gargiel immediately coming back, I felt really bad, like when like Lady was crying. It's just like, you know, like the one that she loves and cares about was back, and like regardless of what, at least it wasn't a one-shot fight. But honestly, my biggest problem with the fight itself is that even though it was like a barely like there was quite a few chapters focused on it, like, and it's like I really would have appreciated that at least like there was like it went into the next chapter. That was like always, like, I feel like there's always going to be an issue with me with fairy tales. Like, I wish for the fact that they had that, but Mirajane's like transformation and Eileen at the end totally fucking made up that chapter, and I was like, god damn excited about it. And the swords as well, so I'm really curious about exactly what that's going on. So overall, I will give this chapter an 8. I do think that is, I really think that, you know, there's like, you know, slightly few problems and all that I said for the past weeks and all that, and just fairy tales pacing issues and all that has. Normally like a detraction from the chapter, but goddamn, do I want to see a Mirajane and Eileen fight, like from what I've like said so many chapters ago in that prediction. I cannot wait and all that to see how that's going to go down, although I still think like Mirajane has to go down, so then Urza has a reason to revenge and also as well deal with this, like whoever her relative is, like goddamn, anything's on the table like that. If she's from the future, she's from the past like that, fuck it. If she's from like anywhere, like any point of time at all like that, it was like mother, daughter, like that, like it's like so many things and all that could be said, since like Hera clearly wants to keep like what Eileen is like for a little bit while longer, exactly what her relation is to Urza. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what's going on with that. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. But that's all for me. Thank you much for watching. As always, you love fairy tales as much as I do. You know, hit that like, you know, hit that subscribe. Thank you very much though, and I'll see you guys though next time.